In this video, I'm doing two things. First, I'm showing my work and I will explain how I made these optical fiber suits. And if you are a fashion designer or DIY hobbyist, I'm asking you if there's a better way to create the form and attach the fibers to the suits. Please leave a comment if you have an idea. I like using light for creative photography, and I always liked the sparkling light of optical fibers. So I was delighted to learn I could get 100 pieces of 3-meter fiber optic strands for under $20 from Amazon. Flashpoint is a fiber that contains light scattering dots, so the whole fiber glows. End glow emits a light only at the other end. By the way, there are ready-made LED dresses that you can buy, but LEDs are very dim compared to the flash. Here is the most bright LED flashlight I own compared to a camera flash. If you shoot with an LED dress, the model's face will be dark or blurry from the slow shutter speed. So I knew I had to create my own suits with optical fibers connected to the camera flash. Naturally, I designed and 3D printed the funnel for the optical fibers. But I learned that if you keep firing the flash rapidly, the heat trapped in the funnel can melt the PLA plastic. Next, the size of the rain gutter pipe from Home Depot somehow fits the flash perfectly. I used that and other metal sheets, but they were scary sharp and hard to work with. Then I learned about the metal print from craftcloud3d.com. It's like a directory and mediator for all 3D printing vendors in the world. I ordered an aluminum composite from China for my design. It arrived in about 2 weeks. To make it easy to insert all fibers into the funnel, I used epoxy glue to bond the end of the fibers together and wrapped heat resistance tape around it. The next step is how to make it look good on the models. I could wrap the fibers around the model randomly and it actually looked great. But I also wanted to make costumes. First, I used coarse mesh. It's good for holding the fibers loosely, kind of in a random fashion. Then I used a fine mesh fabric. Turns out it's very hard to run the 1mm thick fibers through this fine mesh. It took like 3 days to sew hundreds of strands on this dress. My next idea is, why can't I just staple the fibers? A normal stapler wouldn't work. The magazine and hammer and the crimp area must be on the opposite sides of the mesh. I couldn't find such product, so I decided to make one with a staple gun. This prototype in plastic worked surprisingly well, but it's metal against plastic, so it will fail after a few times. I ordered the aluminum composite from craftcloud3d.com. This is what it sounds like. And here are the results. Here is the question for you. How would you attach bundles of optical fibers to the mesh fabric? Next, to make each bundle of fibers thicker and more bright, I wanted to use wire as a base. Question: where can you find a mesh made of thin wire with grid bigger than a few inches? I couldn't find anything at Home Depot, Lowe's, or online. I tried soldering, which didn't last for long. Cold weld glue was powerful but didn't look good. I even asked a friend to try welding, but the wire was too thin for it. In the end, I relied on zip ties and added some glue so the wires won't slide. I also used zip ties to tie the fibers to the wire. Zip ties and wires can be erased in Photoshop if I wanted to, but it takes time. Final question: is there a better way to tie the fibers and make it look nicer? Just recently, I found this 2x3-inch mesh on Amazon, and I created this costume. But it's not too comfortable to wear because of thick wire. Finally, I used wires and 3D printed fiber guides to create this high color. To wrap the costume around the body, I used Velcro tapes. A lot. The flash I use is Godox AD200, which weighs more than 2 pounds. I was using a belt to keep it on the model's waist, but it's heavy and too big to hide behind the body. Luckily, I found this extension head for AD200. The flash body can stay on the floor. The cable can be easily erased in post. This inflatable mannequin helped me a lot in creating the shapes. There is a surprisingly difficult math problem of determining how to cut 100 pieces of 3-meter fibers, in my case, into the bundles with various lengths without wasting too much fibers. This is a hard task known as knapsack problem. If you want to avoid solving this problem, you can buy a 100-meter fiber from AliExpress, but I have to warn you, the single long strand tends to get tangled really bad. Optical fibers are relatively easy to untangle in general, but if they came in a long plastic bag, don't lose it. Finally, these vacuum storage bags are the best for storing the suits. Thank you very much for watching this until the end. You watched this far, and I assume you liked the video, and I hope you could subscribe to my channel. If you get to create something with optical fibers, please tag me, leave a comment, and show me your work. Thank you.